have a window open for this thing that's going to blow us out of the water here. Let me find that window. I got Zoom. I just saw the class. I have Zoom open. Hello, hey guys. Hello, hello. We are just
Are we
starting out
live?
here.
Hi, Victor. Hi, Hiko.
Hey,
Boom.
hey.
Hey,
Okay.
Kurt, good to see you.
Are
Good
we
to
going
see
by
you.
Kurt? Are we going by
Hang
Kurt
ten.
or Softypapa? What are we doing here?
Softy Papa, all in.
Okay. All right.
Yeah. AKA Kurt.
It looks like this is ready. Yeah. Live. Live. Okay. Yes. I'm gonna open a window. Oh yeah. There we go. Okay. Cool. We're waiting for that to come on. All right, guys. Welcome. What do we got here? We've got 8 people watching now. Okay. Welcome. We've got the legendary Softy Papa sandwiched between the other
Ooh.
legendary Oyaji, right? So we're like 3.5 Oyajis today.
I think we're like 10 Oyajis, I think, with
10
this. I think
ten.
we're all completely overpowering with Oyajiness today.
Let's see who's
I,
doing.
I think between the three of us, we've got well over a century and a half of Hoyaji.
Yes.
That's
Yes.
suddenly it feels real all of a sudden. Yeah, you know what? Sometimes you go to the every Sunday I take my son to out for dinner to the same restaurant, but it's a nice place, and it's got a thing where you get a discount if, as a couple, your combined age is 120 years or greater, which I guess is a way of,
Senior
I don't know, for
discount.
me, yeah, for the senior discount, but you have to be combined age of 120, which I was always thinking. So I don't know. I'm
Well,
gonna have to find a 20-year-old when I'm 100 or
yeah.
something. Like, how does
Yeah.
that
Yeah.
work?
That's kind of
But I think
encouraging.
right
Like
now
a
we are definitely we are qualifying for the discount at my the restaurant anyway.
Clever way to do it.
Yeah, yeah.
yeah. Hiko, are you? Are you even 50 yet?
No,
Right.
I'm almost. I'm there. I'm getting there this year. Sad to
Wow.
say, but I'm
I'd
going to
love to
hold
be.
on to
I
every
would love to
second
be
of my
under
40s.
50. Yeah, I'd love to be under 50 again. Wow, that's amazing. Yeah.
Well, I don't know. This
Um,
is where I'm starting to see things starting to fall off the car. I guess we've got. Uh, yeah, it just
It's true.
advances from there, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
well, let's get started because we've only got an hour. There's a lot to do, a lot to talk about here. First of all, let's start off with a little self introduction, kind of basic. But some of you may not know who this is because he's been off the J vlogging map for a while. Yeah. Yeah. Please take it away.
Sure, no problem. And I wouldn't say that I was very much on the map before, and that was largely because I was so distracted. A lot
Mm,
of, the three of us are probably some of the older part of the older cohort of the old J vlogs, right? A lot of the
right.
folks were younger, so we were kind of working on fatherhood and all that
Mm,
kind of stuff.
mm.
A lot of people were free, so they were doing stuff, getting together, where the three of us could largely not do that. The two of you being in Tokyo facilitated, your yet readily access. So I was kind of back in the JVlog, well, I call it the 1.0 days for me.
Mm.
I was there in the periphery, but always so distracted that I never really felt like a full member, right? But
Oh, really?
and then yeah, well, I never really did because I was far away, living in Shizuoka. I got a kid, stuff like that. Couldn't
Mm.
You guys were always getting together. I didn't feel like I necessarily missed out, but now I do. But by way of introduction, so I'm Kurt. I prefer to go by Softy Papa these days, also known as Kurt Bell. I have a YouTube channel, and in the past, I did Japan exploration of wilderness and going off the beaten path and reporting what I found out there. For the last 10 plus years, I was back in the United States. Doing my best to try to finish off raising my child over there. Brought her back there with me with my wife, and with the daughter grown and off on her own, and my wife and I decided to, and she decided to come back to Japan. So we decided we'll go back, we'll go join her as well. And the whole lot of us, Emily, our daughter, my wife Yumiko, and I, 2014 was our big adventure to return lock, stock, and barrel back into Japan and reestablish ourselves here. And I would say, gentlemen, that I probably have only just finished that took 2 years to do. I finished that endeavor within in the month of May. So I'm just finished all of that, and man, am I tired. My feet are sore.
Remind us, when did you go back to America?
That would have been roughly February 23rd, 2014. I think at
Okay.
3 p.m. roughly.
Mm.
Okay. Okay. Three. All right, cool.
By the
cool.
way,
All right.
just to be a snobby Tokyo person for a moment, Victor
Mm.
being in Nagoya and you being in Shizuoka, you all seem the same distance away from me as you.
That's right. That's
I
right.
never thought of you as being more far away or anything like that. Actually, it was kind of cool.
That's
You were
right.
you're my Shizuoka guy in terms of my mental map of Japan. There were guys in
Were
Osaka,
you were
guys
always
in
in
Nagoya.
Shizuoka before too?
What was
Were
I
you
in?
always in? Were you always in Shizuoka? I always thought you were
Oh
like
yeah,
somewhere in
man,
the
I
mountains.
got the tattoo right around here somewhere. Yeah, I got Shizuoka. Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
I thought you were always somewhere up in the mountains, more
So
north.
everybody gets that idea because all the videos would be taking place up there.
Mm.
But I literally, I'm the house that I'm sitting in right now is 5 minutes from the apartment that I lived in when I lived here before.
Oh,
And
wow.
yeah, no, this is my Yada. I live in a place called Yada. Yada, it's called the Valley of Tea. This valley is my home in Japan. It's been ever
Yada.
since.
It's called Yada.
Yeah,
Yada.
really.
I know, yeah, isn't it?
Yada.
Yeah, I
So
know.
it's
Wow.
yada, not iyada, but yada.
I'm
No.
probably saying it wrong, but it's
No.
it's
Yeah.
hiragana ya
Yazin
and da.
Valley.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay. Okay.
Yada. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah,
That's awesome.
my wife says they call it the Valley of Tea.
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
Yeah. I get it. I can see them. I can see the characters there. You could read it Tanicha or something, but I'm sure it's right. It's anyway. That's cool. You're in a place. Wow. Where you're living is Yada.
All right, great. So, well, he's got a book out. One of the reasons we want him on the show today is because he's just published a book, right? And
Yep.
let me see if I can share. Let's see if I can share this book here in the screen. Hold on here. Dun, dun, oh, whoa. How do I do this? Present.
Yeah. Share screen. Present.
Share
Yeah.
screen. Here we go. Oh, allow.
Never had a technical issue. Always just
share
goes
entire
Never,
screen.
never. This thing always goes off without a hitch. Perfect every
Oh
time.
wow, that was not what I wanted to
Whoa!
do there.
I can see into
Man,
infinity right now. I
this
feel whoa.
this great punch is stronger than I thought.
It's like
This
I'm falling into the void.
no.
This is
How
like
do
a
I?
1970s Jackson 5 video.
But don't you
How
guys
do I wave our
remember?
hands?
I mean, you guys have come a long ways. I mean, when you 2.5 Oyajis, years ago, you always had technical issues right at the start. Remember?
We still do.
Victor would get upset sometimes when I would when I would say there was a feature, and I'm like, it's like I know how to do this, man. I'm like, I think it's cool that we always have technical issues.
Is this? I think this is it. Hold on, give me a second.
Is it relative to which window you're sharing?
That didn't work. Oh no, I'm showing a window. Let's try that again. Let's try that again.
I'm just
pretty
so
sure
happy
the
to
final window in this screen is hell. I think there's a thing. It's like with mirrors,
Okay.
right? They talk about how the final one is like got the devil in it or something.
Okay.
It's infinite screen sharing.
Hold on, let's try that one more time. I think this will work this time. Share this one. No.
By
Share
the way,
this.
tons
Oh,
of
I
people in the
see.
comments. Just
Okay.
while you figure that out, I'm
That's
just going to
it.
shout out in the comments. We've
That's
got Yoni, DJ Sunnyside Up, Odie Jr., Jock, Believe in Yourself, Amit Thakur, Quint Rankid. So many people. Aaron in here. Awesome to see you. We've got Believe in Yourself, Ida, Sainted Sir. So many people. More people rocking, and great to see so many people joining. And this
A
is
lot
the
of
book.
regulars, yeah. And this is the book. I just wanted to show you the book. You can get it on Amazon, in American Amazon or Japanese Amazon, either way.
Yep.
I picked up a copy last week. I've only read some of it. I haven't got through all of it yet. But I do have some questions based on what I do have, what I have read. And I'm going to take this off the screen now. Okay, just
Sure.
How do I take it off? Can I take it off? Stop screen. Yay. Okay, now we're normal again. Okay, cool. All right. Okay.
Siri, stop screen. Stop screen, Siri.
So when I was reading the beginning of it, it said it refers to Softypapa AI.
Mm-hmm.
Right? And is that your own personal AI you made, or is that just what you call using AI, or what is that?
Kind of. So when I started writing this book, I decided to use AI as a helper with it. So I then came up with this pseudonym, Softypapa AI, to clearly distinguish between the books that I've written myself, which are penned under Kurt Bell's name, and the books which are written with the aid of AI. So I used the Softypapa AI for that.
Okay.
As to how I did indeed spin up or train a custom GPT to do this. This is the third book I've written using AI. So each of the books I've written, I've created a custom GPT, prepared it ahead of time to be my assistant for the book.
How do you do that? Is that a long story?
No, it's very easy. So if you have the, I don't know if you can do it without the paid edition, but if you have the paid version of
Mm-hmm.
ChatGPT,
I have the
you
paid
can
version.
okay, you
Yeah,
can
tell me.
create custom GPTs, and you can train it in any way you want. You can give it, attachments, bodies of literature, to read, to look at, and then give it special instructions and things that you want to have as assumptions. And then it knows this corpus of information, and it knows what you're up to, and it will write accordingly. So what I did was I created the custom GPT. I told it what we're going to do, and then I've written 4 books of my own, and then I gave it all 4 of my books that I'd written on my own, and said, "This is how I write. This is how I do things. Let's work together." And then
Hmm.
basically the AI then helped me to write the book.
So it keeps to your style.
Yeah, but in the end, I've actually chose to I actually asked it to make it a little more approachable and readable. My own style, if you've ever read any of my books, is not very readable. I don't write. It's not easy reading because it's rather weird. But so I asked it to make it. Because I wanted this to be a more popular book. I wanted this to be a book that people didn't have to wade through, but something that they could actually easily read as a reference. So I said, let's make it something that people can just read if they're reading the New York Times. So it changed the writing style to be accordingly.
So
So
I saw
just to
him.
be clear, so
Yeah,
well, sorry, can I jump in?
yeah, go ahead.
So would you write it a draft and it would act as an editor, or would you like dictate your like how did you interact with the AI for the writing process?
Interesting question. Thanks, Hiko. So, what I did was when Yumiko and I decided that we were going to retire, and I knew it was going to be about a 2-year journey, I had enough foresight, which I rarely have, but I had enough foresight to say, man, if I can record what happens in the next 2 years and codify that in some way, that
Mm,
might be interesting if anybody else finds themselves in a position and wants to do the same thing, right? Why have to reinvent the wheel if I go through it all? So I didn't know the chapters that I was going to write ahead of time, but as events began to unfold, like for example, when we took on the great challenge of bringing 2 dogs to Japan,
mm,
I spun up a chapter for that. And as information started coming in, I would give the AI information. I would literally take the screenshots of the documents from the vets and I would give those screenshots to the AI and said, here's what this is. And then ask the AI to formulate all of that into a legible, understandable chapter that made sense of all of that and used the screenshots appropriately.
cool.
Cool, cool. So I saw on the Daily Show the other day, some guy he's got a girlfriend, but he's also got an AI girlfriend. And I was
Mm.
wondering where that came from. So he must have done that. He probably just paid for ChatGPT. He created a girlfriend out of ChatGPT.
You can do that. I did. That was one of the first things I ever did with AI. The first book I ever wrote is called No More Looking Out for Number One, and
Mm.
it's about my best friend Eric Fong, who committed suicide in the 90s, and after my failed attempts to convince him not to. Anyway, that was a really traumatic event for me, and I wrote the book No More Looking Out for Number One about Eric. It's Eric's story. So when I first started using AI, one of the first things I did, because I really miss Eric, was I gave the book to Eric and I said, "Can you be Eric?" And it was Victor. It was uncanny the way that
Really?
AI, after reading the book, the AI then took on Eric's persona, and I had my
That's
old friend back.
freaky. That's
Mm.
Yeah.
freaky.
So you can create someone yourself.
So that girl that dumped me in high school. Yeah, I'm getting her revenge.
If she
Yeah.
Oh
became
well.
an author, if you ever had an author dump you, you've got perfect material. I mean,
Yeah,
there's
yeah.
character AI. They're already. I mean, it is a big thing for a while now. There are these AI sites that offer like AI companions,
Mm.
and there was an episode where they updated like the AI on all the companions and all basically all their memories and conversations with the person got wiped, which is like having your girlfriend lobotomized halfway through a relationship, basically. But yeah, this is like full on sort of her scenario, right? This is basically it's a way of being able to sort of bring back in a way the person, or at least the experience of talking to the person. It's a real thing. I mean, you can already do that now.
Wow.
Yeah.
Well, someone was just inspired enough to give us a donation here. Thank
Very
Wow.
you very
kindly.
much, Jock. Do you know this guy? Jock, very, very. Thank you very much, man. Come
I
by.
don't recognize the name. It's
30
very
Australian
nice.
dollars. That's a fair number of beers for you there.
Yeah, we'll have to get to, do you drink, by the way?
Me?
Yeah.
Drinking this 7% grape punch now. Although, that's, but this is,
Wow,
I
I'm
The
did,
good
impressed.
stuff.
but guys,
I
I
don't
did this. I did this because I knew I was going to be with you guys, and I needed to dull the pain. No, I knew I knew I was going to be with you guys.
Yeah.
But do you want to know
Yeah.
something that's interesting? I do drink, but ever since I've come back to Japan, I don't drink anymore. This is the first thing. This is the first alcohol I've had in
Wow.
like a month and a half.
Well,
Wow, I'm
welcome back
impressed.
onto the wagon.
Yeah, no kidding.
Okay, so I've prepared some questions. Some of these are just my questions. I want to jump to the thing that was most interesting for me, which is your health section. You talked
Mm,
about I'm going to ask you a personal question. Of course, you don't have to answer this one, but you talked about in chapter, I think 10 or something, about health, wellness, and end of life planning.
right.
So I don't know if this is too personal, but I mean I would love to. I would answer this question myself, but cremated, buried, what's going to happen with you? And what about transferring your organs, anything like that? Like, you have any plans
Uh,
like that? Do you feel comfortable talking about that?
yeah, no, death is something I'm very comfortable talking about it.
Yeah,
I do it. I
I've read a
just,
whole book of yours talking about that. Yeah.
yeah,
I know how
yeah,
comfortable you are.
No,
yeah.
but telling us what you've decided. I don't know if you like, for example, organs.
Right.
Are you planning to transfer? Let people use your corpse after you're gone?
Oh, yeah, sure, you bet. Have at it. And whatever's left, just I would prefer not to even be burned up, but if I could just be put into a big trash bag and put out on the street, that would be fine. But my
Feel
wife
bad
said
for the
no.
trash collector. Yeah.
Yeah,
it's,
yeah.
it's not really a you problem, it's a them problem, but yeah.
My wife, this is actually a pretty deep subject. I
Yeah.
know that for me because I have thought a lot of thoughts on this, but in a nutshell, cremation, yeah, that's for sure. Especially given that I'm in Japan. But my wife, as she likes to say, because we talk about this subject, she says, "Kurt, remember, your death isn't about you. It's about the people that you've left behind. So if I die first, I'm going to leave it in her hands."
Right. My wife asked me if she thought who she thought would die first, and I said probably me. But I also added, but I hope it's you.
But let me ask you this, guys, because this is something that I think affects all of us. What will you do if, for example, your spouse dies before you? And well, I'll just front load it with my own answer. Is that I'll probably go back if I'm capable of doing it. I'll probably leave Japan and go back to America.
Oh, really?
Yeah, just because it'll be easier to die there for me because I don't speak Japanese very well and
Yeah.
et cetera, et cetera.
That was another question I was going to ask you a little bit later about
Mm,
when it comes to retiring in Japan. Yeah, if I remember correctly, well, first of all, you haven't been in Japan for 10 years, over 10
right.
years now, and your Japanese wasn't famously good back then either, if I remember
No.
correctly. So you can retire in Japan without being able to speak Japanese.
Well, I can't speak to that
Oh well,
particular
yeah.
scenario. I think that would be hard. I mean, I get by. Like, I mean, I spent a good portion of the day today speaking Japanese, including to the cops that pulled me over this afternoon. So,
Because did you have the grape drink in your hand?
I didn't. I didn't. I was actually quite astonished at how much of the day I spent speaking Japanese. I would not call it quality Japanese or very good Japanese, but my wife. It's interesting, and maybe I'll kick this over to my wife and the measure that she provides. Since we've come back, I've suggested several times that I start taking lessons, and she's told me, "No, Kurt, you don't need to do that." And she says, "You get by just fine." And my daughter, we talked with my daughter about it, and she said too. She said, Dad, you're doing just fine. She says, you don't speak well, but you're not afraid. You just go for it, and you always manage to get by. So I would say that maybe having an attitude of a can-do attitude and using what you've got to the best of your ability. If all you're aiming for is to successfully be able to get out of a particular sticky situation like today, getting pulled over by the cops, then that'll get by. If, however, your well-being comes down to having connections and being a part of the community and
Yeah.
understanding what people are saying, then yeah, you're going to need to speak better than me for sure.
I do think, though, being an optimist, I mean, you talked about you used AI to write the book. AI is like now, there's something that happens now. When it used to be when tourists would come to Japan or friends would come to Japan, I'd take them to a restaurant and the restaurant would pull out the calligraphy menu that I can read Japanese, but it's like, they use every kanji for every type of fish written in, stylistic script. And I'm
Right.
like, oh my God, what do I
Forget
do?
that. Yeah.
And now all these tourists just pull out their phones and hold it in front, and the whole menu appears in English to them through the auto AI translation. And I'm like, hey, show me that.
But
So
let
it's
me
like
let,
the
let
barrier is dropping on that.
but let me add a layer of nuance to that. Yeah,
Yeah.
as you guys probably can guess, I'm gonna try to fold in the retiring in Japan thing, being a selfless
Of course.
promoter. Since retiring, I found when I was before I was retired, when I was living in Japan before, and I was doing the workaday thing and the parenthood thing, I didn't really give a damn about. Excuse me for my language. I didn't really give a damn about fitting in or being a part of anything because I was just
Hmm.
trying to get by. But now that I've got more time on my hands, like this evening, I was out walking the dogs. My wife and her sister were forward with one dog. I was behind with another dog, and the neighbor couple, they're our age, came walking by, and we stopped and talked. We talked for a long time. I couldn't even find my wife
Mhm.
afterwards, all in Japanese. And, and I was, and I was, and I was wishing. I was really enjoying the conversation, and I was wishing that I could speak at a higher level to enjoy that. So what I want to do is an addendum to what I said before, that
Mhm.
if you really want to enjoy life here, yeah, man, learn Japanese for sure. Like, and I'm looking at myself when I'm saying that.
Yeah.
Right. Oh,
Yeah.
interesting.
Makes
Okay,
sense.
cool. Okay. All right. I got some more questions for you. I'm gonna start hitting a little faster here.
Bring it
What's
on.
the I'm gonna put them in the comments here so I can highlight them on the screen.
Well,
Yeah,
actually,
All
wait a
right.
minute. Wait a minute.
Yeah. Yeah.
So,
Sure.
could I ask the question to you and me, Victor? What
Yeah.
would you
yeah.
do if What would you do
Oh,
if your
right.
spouse passed away first? Would you
Uh,
stay here?
I definitely marry a woman 20 years younger. Well, I would try.
Hey, but then you can't get the 60 senior discount.
Oh, that's right. That's right.
Yeah,
No,
you'd miss out on
actually,
the restaurant. You'd have
you
to.
got to
Yeah.
I got to tell you a quick anecdote. Dude, there's a guy named Shane, an old J blogger. He left Japan about 6, 7 years ago, maybe 8. Yeah, a while ago. You remember Shane, right? Uh,
I remember.
you remember him? Hiko. Right?
Vaguely.
So
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
yeah, it turns out later he was bisexual. He came out bisexual on video, which might explain the following anecdote. He says to me one day, he goes, "You're lucky you found Yoko." Right? He was. I think he stayed the night one night. He was. I don't know why he was moving apartments or something, but or he was just visiting, whatever. Anyway, I said, yeah, yeah, I'm lucky. He goes, because if you were single now, who would marry you? He just thought there's no chance a guy like my age, because I think he was like 21, 22 or something, right? Or early 20s. So I mean, the view of someone our age is like, oh my God, we're just old fogies. The
Yeah.
people,
Just
people in
waiting
that
to
age
die.
group. No, but seriously, if my wife died, oh God, I'd want to. I'd probably, if my kids were this age now, I'd probably take them back to America because of their
How about
Yeah.
age.
Young
Yeah,
kids. Yeah.
yeah, because they're
how,
young, and it'd be a good opportunity for them to learn English in an environment like that. And maybe with my parents, they could help out. I would
Mhm.
take them there. They'd
How about
probably
you,
be happy.
Hiko? What would you do?
I don't know. Honestly, I think my son's like 2 years away from university. And when he does that, we're not going to, right now, where I'm living is tied to the school, and we're not at a stage where I would go back overseas immediately or whatever. I'd at least in the short term. It's really my life arrangements are around my son right now. But it's after that, I'll tell you what, I mean, I'm still working, but, and one feature of my job, I got to go to America and see you as part of my job.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, that's right. That's right.
So in terms of, yeah, if I suddenly became on my own, I don't think I'm like tied to Japan like that. My son kind of is because he wanted to go to Japanese school. So
Mm.
I'm always going to be tied to Japan through my son. But I think certainly, I'll be a bit more flexible. And I don't even know where I'm sure part of your book says when you're like nearing 50, you should be really planning for retirement already. And I'm in complete denial about it, of course. But I can't see myself. I must admit, I can't see myself retiring in Japan. I mean, I equally can and can't. But I'm open-minded to sort of going and working or living wherever that makes the most sense for me.
Mm.
So
5 years, Hiko, 5 years ago, I wouldn't have, I couldn't have
yeah,
imagined that I'd be sitting here now in this
Really?
situation. No,
yeah,
it wasn't in the cards.
I thought
It
you were
wasn't,
planning on
it
it.
was 2 years, it was 2 years ago that this plan came about. And just can I add a
Wow.
caveat to the thing?
Yeah.
Maybe this caveat would apply to all three of us.
yeah,
If my wife was to die first, whatever plan I thought I would do would be heavily contingent upon whatever decision my daughter made about where she wanted to spend her life. For example,
Right.
Yeah.
if she said, no, that's good, Dad, but I'm gonna live here in
Stay in America.
Japan. Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm gonna have my grandkids here, etc. Well, then I might give a lot of second thought to that.
Mhm.
Right.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah, that'd be big consideration for me. I think for Victor as well. All of us sort of are answering the same, that the kids would be a big
Yeah.
consideration of where we'd want to be.
No, you're right. I talked about this on video the other day. I think you might have heard about it. One of my son's friends got divorced, and the mother she let them go. She let them go with the father, right? Which is very
Mm.
Which is
rare.
the
She let the
that's
father take him, and he left the country. So he went back
But
to his country.
that is Victor, isn't that is the Japanese the way they go one or the other, usually the mom,
Right.
right? And
Yeah.
then it's
Usually the
complete
mom. Yeah.
and then completely cut, right?
Yeah. 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 It's bizarre. So and they're young. My son's age, 10 years old, and I told him we happened to be walking by where he used to live. And I said, "Wow, I can't believe that she let them go." No, because I asked him, "Does she still live there?" He goes, "No, she moved to a different city. She moved away now." And I said, "I can't believe she let him go." And he said, and I said, if your mom and I got divorced, what would you do?" And he didn't want to answer. I said, "It's okay, you can answer. I mean, you go with mom, right?" He goes, "Yeah, I'd go with mom." which is fine. And I said, if you wanted to go with mom, I'd want you to go with mom. I would still visit you, and stuff like that. But yeah, I mean, to your point, I guess the kid's decision is important.
Mm.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm answering right now, but I'd have to ask the kid. Maybe they would not want to go to America. Maybe they'd be miserable. Maybe they'd be happy staying here. So,
Mm.
we did a live show earlier today. My son is talking to we do a family cooking live show once a week now. And
Nice.
my son is talking to the Japanese people in the comments, like, any Japanese people there? Nihonji imasu ka? He's asking, And when the Japanese person comments, he's like, they get all excited. So I mean, I'm sure they feel more Japanese than they do foreign, especially my daughter for sure. But
Sure.
anyway, yeah, got another question for you here. What was? I'm just going to throw these at you quickly, okay?
Sure.
And what was the one challenge you never saw coming, or was there? Because I'm reading your book and it looks like you guys thought of everything, but I'm thinking there must have been something that you
Yeah.
just, right?
Yeah.
Here's a,
Yeah.
here's a,
There was something that I couldn't have foreseen until I got here. And what I mean by got here is not Japan, but got to being retired. The great vacuum of purpose and meaning that comes of giving up one's career, even a career that we don't like. And for the record, I did not enjoy my job at all. And if I would go so far as to say I hated it. And so blessings to those people that enjoy their work. I wasn't one of you. But but
I like my
but
job. I'm lucky.
you are lucky. You are lucky. So it's going to be even harder, maybe even harder for you when the day comes, because I found that I didn't see this coming. The absence of maybe it's contrived purpose of the workaday life, um, is hard to deal with. And I didn't see that coming at all. And I'm doing well with it, and I'm getting better. But the month 4 through 6 were really
Mm.
hard for me, and it's now
Yeah.
I'm in month 6, and I'm just starting to get through the other side. I think light on the end of the tunnel.
Has your self-worth changed?
Exactly. Yes, exactly. I had a great deal of a sense of my self-worth, to use your term, came from my salary that I was making and my ability to provide for my family, the
Mm.
peace of mind and the sense of security that came in earning that. And not to mention the maybe it was a distraction, but all the distraction of the 9 to 5 that gave me something useful to do that just isn't the same once it's gone. And so yeah, that's it.
Actually, I had a moment like this. I was back in New Zealand for the first time in a long time. My parents recently, or my father and my stepmother recently moved back to New Zealand. So it was really cool to get to hang out there. And my stepmother, who's younger than my dad, just recently retired.
Mm.
And she was talking about, she's going through exactly, actually, maybe even with the same timing that you are sort of going into that mode. And she was is still present as very successful, like a McKinsey consultant and, all sorts of, real rock star. But she was saying herself, how she attached so much of her identity to what she did and her relationships with her people at work and her team. And she sort of felt like, oh, they're going to miss me and how are they going to do without me? And she sort of said it was a bit of a shock to realize, you're out for a week and no one remembers you. And she sort of was saying to me, Hiko, don't attach your self-identity to your job. Take all of your time off. Pay to take extra time off. What's more important are the relationships you have outside work. Those will last the rest of your life. The relationships in work, they'll work while you're working. But, in any company, you know what I mean? They don't stick like that. And she felt like she just was coming to an epiphany that she had so sort of over-attached her own self-identity to her job. And it gave her a bit of a crisis when she left. And then she realized, oh, all along, the real important things were these relationships. And I should always, should have prioritized these things better. And she
Hiko, this seems to be a very common theme. Now that I'm doing the Retiring in Japan video series, I'm being contacted by a lot of people who are my age and who are either at the cusp of retirement or already in retirement. And I'm hearing the reports of the same thing. It seems to be a very common thing. The good news is it seems that most of us come through the other side well, and we get to the other side and it's like clear water after that. A minority of us descend into bad habits like drinking too much and other things to mollify because it is actually it's actually a type of pain, and it's hard. So I wish her all the best on that. And Victor, can I add a second one? A second thing that surprised me. The second thing, I'm 61 years old now, and just turned 61 last week. And
that's right. Happy birthday! Yeah, that's right.
Thank you very much. Thank you. And so the other thing that surprised me in retirement was just how quick the body and the mind are willing to give up once we're not actively engaged in the world. It's literally like my body and my mind have both said, "Oh, you don't have a gainful, stressful purpose to do anymore. Well, okay, well then I guess you won't need the benefit of all this muscle tone or this mental cognition or your mental acuity or anything, right?" And you can feel the whole bodily apparatus, body and mind, beginning to wind down. It is scary how fast it is, and I didn't see that coming either.
Wow. Yeah, my grandmother, who lived to be about 2 months short of 100, she was like driving around in her 90s, delivering like Meals on Wheels and so on to people in their 60s, literally 65 and whatever, including friends, like who I know, who exactly what you're talking about. I think because she stayed active and did lots of volunteer stuff and stuff like that, she was sharp all the way through. But yeah, she said herself, as soon as people sit down and just start watching TV, that's the end of it. Their bodies and their minds just go really fast. And she was really mindful about that.
The people who seem to do the best in this period of life seem to be those that have strong social networks, lots of connections, lots of community. And I'm not one of them, right? I don't have a strong social network, so I'm trying to recover from that. Thus, I'm talking to you guys.
Well, you also got 2 dogs, and people who have dogs live longer.
That's right.
You got the pups right there?
Yeah, this is Rudy.
Oh,
yeah.
Hello.
Always,
Rudy.
always by my side.
He's the one you told me about. So actually, Hiko, we should mention this. Hiko and I are going to be going to next. When is that date again? I forgot already.
March 30th. March 30th,
2026, Monday night. We're going to go see
Louis C.K.
Louis C.K.
Exercise the brain, Victor.
Not even drinking tonight, just water. Louis C.K. and we invited Kurt, but he's got to stay with his doggie.
Yep.
So yeah, but that's a kind of a social time. They say that little things like that help. There are tons of stories about salarymen who were like really important people in the companies, and they would get literally 500 postcards on New Year's Day, and as soon as they retire, nothing. It just drizzles down to 10 or 11, and they realize nobody cares about me anymore. And that's why, and then they die.
Can I just add an anecdote that might shine on that? So I kept on my phone after I quit my last day of work. I kept my team schedule, so all my calendar items on there. I was an IT project
Right.
manager, and so I led a lot of meetings, and almost every meeting that I was in, I was the leader. I was the one that led the meeting. I came up with the agenda. I ran the meeting, et cetera, et cetera. I kept all that stuff. And it's kind of like a memento mori reminder that every day, or almost every day, Monday through Friday, these friggin' meetings pop up on my phone. They show up, the reminders show up saying, the change control meeting is starting in 15 minutes. And now here's the reason that it's a clincher. I was the one that instigated, led, and all of those meetings. And I think to myself, all of these meetings are going off just fine without me. They don't
That's
need
right.
me anymore. No one's calling me up saying, Kurt, how do we do this, that, or
How
the
can
other
we live
one?
without you? Yeah.
Just complete cut. And so I never killed the calendar, because every time I see one of those meetings, it reminds me of that important fact that they never needed me all along, really.
Yep. Yep.
We're all
No.
replaceable.
There's
Mhm.
a guy at my work in the same position. He's retiring, and having talked with my stepmother deeply about this. And then my boss in APAC, he's retiring. He's saying like, everybody contact me when I'm retiring if you've got any stuff. And I'm already thinking, dude, I'm never gonna need to call you, you up. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's how it is. And
Have you seen that?
I hope he moves beyond it quickly. Yeah.
Real quickly, have you seen that movie About Schmidt with Jack Nicholson?
Yeah, yeah.
And there's that
Yeah.
scene. There's that scene when he's retiring, and the new guy that's coming in to replace him, and Jack Nicholson has prepared all of his papers and files and
Yeah.
boxes, and he goes out to lunch, and he comes back, and he finds all those papers and files in the dumpster
Yep.
in the back of the building.
Yeah. No, I teach
Yeah.
that scene. There's a scene where he goes back in and say, I was walking by, I was just driving by, and I wanted to know if I could help you out.
Yeah.
Maybe you have some questions. He says, nope, I'm doing fine.
Yeah.
They don't. I got a PhD in business for my master's in business wasn't for nothing. Whatever.
There, that's what he said. Yeah.
Yeah. I teach that scene because it's a good scene. It's good.
Okay, that's another thing. And that's another thing I want to add. I'm sorry to keep on having these addendums.
Please.
No, please.
This is another dawning experience that's happening. Okay, like I went down to the Unpacking Japan team. I told you 2 days ago, right?
Yeah.
Those guys, it's a pretty big deal business in Osaka. They have a big, large building downtown. They have
Oh,
three
really?
three whole floors all to themselves. And I got a
Okay.
tour. Yeah, they're an IT company, and I got a tour of the whole business and looking at it. And as I was going through and looking at it, I was realizing there is no place in this, and it's almost all foreigners that are working in there. And there's no place in this business for me. I am Schmidt right now. I'm on the other side. They don't need me for nothing there. And so it was a really kind of a humbling experience to realize that not only is my career over, but my relevance is past.
I'm not sure I think of it that way. Well, yet. I mean, you're as relevant as you want to be. You don't need to care about that sort of a thing. But I think it's kind of exciting right now, the way that, just like what you did with your book, the ability of people just even on their own or in small groups of people to do new things right now. It's a really exciting time, right? The way that, I think that technology is opening up a lot of doors in ways that, the possibilities are opening up in ways that haven't been ever, probably. I don't know. I'd like to think, partly expecting that I'm not going to get retirement, that is probably going to be gone by the time I'm that age. And you'll have to figure out how to keep working somehow, but also thinking, you might be able to get by on your creativity and, without needing a big company and needing change control meetings and stuff like that. I'd like to think that there'll be good options as well. I don't know.
Iko, you make a really good point, and I want to amend what I said based on what you just said, because you are absolutely right. I think the relevance is dependent upon what you bring to the table, right? And I feel irrelevant because I have withdrawn my chips from the table, right? You're talking about a situation where you still got the horsepower, you still got the motivation and the interest. You're staying in the game, right? You're totally relevant. You're absolutely right.
Yeah. Yeah, if you want to do stuff, you can, but I get it. You're focused on your post-work life, and this is what I'm getting told as well. That's what was more important all along. I've been prioritizing everything wrong. I mean, you don't have to frame it negatively. You're not irrelevant. You're relevant to the people who matter. Your definition of who matters has probably changed more than anything else.
True.
Hey, can you see the comments? People are asking.
I
Can
see.
you actually see? Can you actually see the
Just
comments?
just the ones that you're featuring
Oh,
on this
okay. There's
window.
people asking you questions, and I'm
DJ Sunny side up. Light comment.
yeah. Here's a comment for you. A question for you. Do you think money equals
Okay.
happiness from DJ Sunny side up?
Wait, was that the question? Sorry, can you
Yeah,
say that again?
that's yeah. It says it's on the
Oh,
screen. Kurt, do
oh,
you
do you
think
think money
money?
equals happiness? I think money money can give us a sense of peace. Short answer, I don't think it equals happiness, but it sure does take away a lot of the stress of wondering how you're going to pay for things and how you're going to handle
Mm,
emergencies.
mm,
So it provides a sense of peace and a buffer against the tribulations, the trials and the tribulations of life. So it's
Mm.
that more than happiness, though, but
mm, mm.
not happiness. I've never been more I've never been more secure in my life, but I wouldn't, and I'm not unhappy, but I wouldn't, I've been happier in my life. Retirement is hard, actually. So no, it's
Hmm,
definitely not.
hmm, hmm. Hey, another quick going back to what you said about the priorities in life. Uh,
Yeah.
Hiko and I went to go see a comedy show. Was that this year?
Yeah.
Was that this?
Yeah.
No, last year.
Well, maybe it was last year. Yeah.
Well, that was last year, right? Jimmy Carr.
Right.
Mm,
Jimmy, do you know him? You familiar
yeah.
with his work?
Yeah.
Okay,
Sure.
so he's kind of a nasty guy. He does. I mean, he's a gentleman. He's
Oh,
got beautiful, but he tells a lot of nasty jokes. Anyway,
he
they asked
uses the
him.
word cunt a lot, but
Yeah,
in
yeah.
a nice way.
The British way.
Is there a way
But
to use it next?
He's Irish actually. Don't call him British.
oh, really? I'm
He,
sorry.
yeah.
But anyway, they asked him about kids. Why did he
Mm,
have kids? He said he never wanted kids, but he finally decided purposely to have kids, and he realized that it was because he was basically he was playing with the wrong chips, the low money table. He said
mm,
everything else is nothing compared to having kids. Once you
mm,
have kids, it's a completely different priority. It's a completely it's a step up in life when you're playing at the adults table when you do that, and it's something that it's incomparable. So I think in that respect, even though you may not feel like your company cares about you, I hope our kids will always need us.
it's
Well,
the
will they
number
need
one.
us? Oh, go ahead.
Well,
Yeah.
no, not actually physically, but
Mm,
emotionally. We'll be
yeah.
there. And
And
there's something in your book that you wrote. You said it's a highest calling to
yeah.
take care of the people that you took care of, or to took care of you. Take care of the people who took care of you. That's by someone named Tia, I think. It's in your book.
Mm.
It's in your book.
Oh,
Does it
really?
ring a bell? You said
It does.
it's one of the greatest honors in life to take care of someone who took care of you. So basically, you're saying take care of your parents.
Right. And every day every day I ask myself first thing in the morning, am I ready to die? And that has to answer three questions. Are my affairs in order? Are my relationships sound? And is my life's work complete? I literally ask this every single day.
Hmm.
And with regard to the life's work complete, that has two components. The first component being, was I successful as a father? And success simply means that I raise a child who's a good human being,
Hmm.
who I trust to go out into the world and carry on after I'm dead and make the world a better place in her best efforts, right? And
Hmm.
so and to me, that is the highest measure of success in life for me, is that was did I succeed as a father in making a good human being, right?
Yeah,
A
that's
good
high chips.
adult. Yeah,
Yeah.
those are the high chips, right? Because that then feeds into absolutely everything we do, right? Because all things that are filter up into that objective.
Right. Jimmy Carr said something similar. He said he doesn't believe in God, but he believes in children being our future. Those are our ancestors. It's a kind of religion, and you're passing down.
Guys,
That.
I can't tell you, and I know I'm only a few years younger than at least you, Victor, but I mean, I can't tell you how how satisfying that's the one thing I think every morning, like I said, about my readiness for death. And and I never ever think about I've had a lot of successful projects at work. I don't think about them. I think
Yeah, yeah,
my daughter came out good. She's a
yeah.
good human being. That is my success.
Mm, mm.
Mm.
Got another question for you from Aaron, one of our longtime viewers.
She's a moderator, right?
Yeah, she's a
Uh,
moderator. That's
On
right.
Hiko's
Yeah,
channel.
that's
on
right.
Yeah,
mine,
That's right.
yeah.
You know that. Yeah, yeah.
yeah.
You see the question? I
Oh
want to
yeah,
know about him.
I can read. Let's see, Victor. I want to know about him bringing Rudy over. Okay, it was Rudy and Ollie only. I brought two dogs over.
Did you
So
have more before?
No, just the two.
Okay, good. Maybe
Yeah,
you had to choose. You guys keep
yeah.
going. Everyone else.
So, Aaron, results will vary depending on where you're bringing the animals over from, but from America in particular, the Japan has strict. What Japan is most interested in, being an island nation, is they don't want rabies in the country. So, so from any country that you're bringing it in from, you're going to have to go through a set of protocols to demonstrate that the animal doesn't have rabies and is safe from it. So, you want to give yourself about 9 months from start to finish to do the process, and it's not that hard. You can actually do it yourself. Now, coming back to the American situation from America, where the one I was, you have to find particular types of vets, and you have to go through particular forms, and it's a complicated thing. You can do it yourself, but what I elected to do was to I vetted a number of different professional pet shippers, and we selected a shipper called Starwood Pet Shippers, and I highly recommend them. Ryan is their coordinator that worked with us, and they will walk you through the process. Um, you can, like I said, you can do it yourself, but if you do it yourself, you're going to set yourself up for about 4 or 5 falling flat on your face and having to regroup at the last moment, and it's going to be more stress than it's going to worth.
Yeah.
As for cost, you want to budget about $5,000 to $6,000 per pet for the transfer process.
Wow.
Yeah. So
Wow.
all
That's a
in
lot.
for our two dogs, $14,000.
Isn't it cheaper just to buy them first class seats? it's,
So I've
it's
had a
like that.
number.
That's true.
This is probably the most contentious of all of the different cases that I think, or scenarios regarding to retiring in Japan that I brought up, is is bringing pets over, because
Mm,
there are ways to do it. One of them, which is to buy a ticket and just carry the dog on the plane. So
yeah.
you could do that, but Hiko, you're still gonna, when you show up into Japan, if you don't
Right.
have your paperwork in order and you don't have things signed in the right way, and in black ink, not blue
Yeah.
ink, the Japanese, right?
Yeah.
You're
Yeah.
Little
yeah,
in red
They're
ink.
obsessed with stuff like that. Yeah.
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah. Red
yeah.
ink. Bro.
If you do it the way I did it, we literally had an agent from our company. We had an agent at both airports.
Yeah.
I delivered the dog to the agent at LAX, Los Angeles International Airport. That agent took it off my hands. They have then the special capability to go through the customs into the airport and
Yeah.
facilitate getting the dog on the damn plane. Then,
Yeah.
when the dog arrived on the other side, an agent at Haneda Airport was there to receive it inside the customs. This is inside the friggin' airport. And
Yeah.
Wow.
then and that's all that person does all day long. So they know Hiroshi and Takeshi and all the guys in the customs. So they're just, yeah, it's a Thursday. Stamp, stamp, stamp. Here's your dog. That's what you
Yeah.
get.
So you got your
Well,
dog immediately? You didn't have to put him in 2 months in
Nope.
a kennel or something?
Got off the plane, walked around the airport to the receiving end, waited there for about 30 minutes, and here comes the dog.
That's great.
Yeah, it
yeah.
was well worth it, but it's expensive, and you need to
Mm.
give yourself enough time. If you're gonna do it, you can't wait until the last 2 or 3 months. That's not enough time. You need at least 6 to 9 months to do it.
Wow. Yeah.
I
When
think the
I was
moral
gonna
here
move,
is to own a turtle.
What's that?
buy a turtle.
own a turtle. Get a hamster. Something.
I joked with my wife a couple of times. I said, I'm just gonna buy a friggin' sailboat in Honolulu and sail over to
Oh,
Shimizu Port, and get off the boat.
yes.
Yeah,
Dog
yeah.
smugglers.
I was thinking about bringing Maggie back years and years ago when Maggie was
Mm.
alive, my dog, and yeah, just it was such a hassle just looking at the paper. I remember researching it. And I was like, oh my god, and it was going to take months. I mean, maybe it's different going back from Japan to America. Maybe it's more difficult. I don't know.
Well, the key element, it is. The pet shippers told me it's much easier to bring an animal into America than it is to Japan. The key element in this timeline is you need, from the time that they inoculate
Mm,
the animal for rabies, you need to wait 6 months before you do this titer test. And the titer test is a test. So you inoculate, and then 6 months later you test to see if there's any evidence of rabies in the animal. You have to
Mm,
wait that 6 months. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about it.
wow, that's
mm.
crazy.
I hope that
All
helps,
right,
Aaron.
Yeah.
all right. I got some. I guess some funny questions for you.
Sure.
Not to lighten things up here because I think death is a popular topic here. So we were talking about health before. Um, can you squat all the way down and with your feet flat on the ground?
So can I squat like I'm gonna take a dump in a
Yeah, but not up on your toes, but with your feet with your heels on the ground.
I can just because
Wow.
I practice that every day. I sit there and do the squats.
Yeah. Okay. No,
Not very well.
I've been practicing for a couple of years and I can't seem to do it. I don't think I have the mobility for that.
I see those construction workers at the side of the road squatting down drinking their coffee, and I can't do what they're doing, but
The Yankees, Wari.
yeah.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
you can't go all the way down like sitting on your ass basically.
I can't do it for very long. And my
Oh.
wife my wife observes me do it, and she says, "Kurt, you have to keep your shoulders behind your knees, right?" And that's a little harder to do too. But I do it because I'm trying to improve my flexibility. I'm
Yeah,
trying
yeah.
to fight the malaise and the body turning off now.
Right,
Yeah.
right. Yeah, no, I do the same
I
thing. But
I find twerking helps. Just
Working.
was in the correct, just quoting DJ Sunny's side up suggestion.
what did speaking of Japanese toilets, I guess you didn't miss the squat toilets. But did you miss the high modern tech bidets or
So we never had a nice toilet in our previously when we lived here. We always had
oh.
just a simple toilet. So going back to America was easier. So we just got a in our house. We bought this house, and then we had the bathroom redone and
Hmm.
the toilet and the toilet room. Bathroom by bathroom, I mean the unit bath and for
Hmm.
bathing. The toilet room and the senmenjo. So we had all three of those rooms redone. So
Hmm.
I've got a brand new modern butt cleaning toilet in
Oh
the thing.
wow.
And I've only got one complaint with this thing, guys, and I'm
Uh-huh.
not bragging. I've only got one complaint is that my dick falls into the water. I don't know what it is about the design of this thing, but my dick gets wet. Can I say that on this show?
Yeah, well you just
You
did.
just did.
I
Yeah.
No, it's fine. I don't think
I
we've ever
don't. I
had
don't.
anyone say that on this show ever.
I don't know if this is a penis related issue, but your camera is like suddenly tilted over it.
don't know what's
Possibly
going on.
you're
I don't know
operating
what
the
I did.
controls.
I don't know what I did. Let's see if I can fix it. So, oh, there it
Oh, there
is.
we go. It's fixed now.
I
Yeah,
There we go. Thank you. Yeah.
that might have been your penis.
That's
Uh,
I think your penis just knocked the camera over. Yeah. Wow. Okay. So when you went back to America, you didn't miss it because you never had it. I mean,
And yeah,
the
I never
bidet.
had it. Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
really? I hear they're quite popular in America too. But
Oh gosh, I really do love the heated seat though. Oh my gosh. Yeah.
oh, in the
Guys,
winter, Shizuoka's cold.
oh,
Yeah.
yeah, I'm really glad. I'm really glad to be back. Just to kind of interject that. I mean, I love America. I really enjoyed living in America. I hated working in America, but I loved living there. But
Mm.
I love being here. It's great
Oh,
being
that's
back.
great. Right.
Yeah.
yeah. The cold toilet seats. That's the thing I fear most about going overseas. I am 100%. Even I'll pay more than you did for the dogs to take a proper toilet with me overseas if I move away.
You can have mine. I'll send it to you.
I might buy. Well, I don't know. My penis might be getting wet. I think I'll buy my own. Yeah.
Let's go back to Japan a little bit. I want to hear about Kurt's transition to and from America and Japan.
Yeah.
Any Japanese snack what did you miss most when you went back to America? What you miss most from Japan? What
Ah.
thing? What like a snack or something or food or I don't know safety? Was there anything specific that you just like? God damn it! This would never happen in Japan.
You guys, maybe you guys can relate to this. I missed being a J vlogger.
Oh, really? Oh,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Mm.
I missed I learned firsthand. Well, I mean it's humbling.
That's
I learned
surprising. Yeah, that's touching too.
I
Wow.
learned I learned firsthand, and now this is humbling, okay? I learned firsthand that whatever modicum of success I enjoyed as a J vlogger, which was nothing compared to the likes of the you auspicious gentlemen, but whatever I had, it wasn't me, it was Japan all along. Because I did exactly the same thing that I did in Japan in America,
Mhm.
and nobody gave a damn.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, this is the thing about the tourism boom. There was always this thing how 15 years ago, when we were all starting on YouTube and whatever, it was
Right.
sort of like we all knew the secret spot, Japan, and we were sharing the secret information, and we were this community of the people who
Mm.
knew how good Japan was and no one else did yet. And while I'm kind of glad everyone got the memo and everyone
Mm.
now understands how awesome Japan is, as a result, there is no J-vlogging community because there's 36 million tourists coming here every year now. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? It's kind of lost its specialness, which is a little
Yeah.
bit sad, although I'm glad people have figured it out.
And some of the most popular Reddit posts are like, "I went to Japan for 1 week and this is what I learned," and they just write a long post, and it's like a million thumbs up on it. Like, wow.
But you know what? But you know what, guys? But you know what does feel really good is and is that we were there. We got the experience. We experienced it
Yeah.
firsthand.
That's true.
It's in our resume, right? And
We
and
are
and no,
pre-internet. We all
yeah,
came
no.
before the internet was popular. Yeah.
As I was telling the unpacking Japan they folks because they were asking me the same question. They said, "What was it like to be a J vlogger?" They were saying to me, "What was the J vlog community like?" And the answer I gave them was, "Well, almost everybody that was in that initial J vlog community they experienced the analog Japan. They knew Japan before the internet arrived, so we had that sense of that if you wanted to have a community, you had to make a community. You had to make an effort.
Mm.
If you wanted to talk to someone overseas, you had to find that international phone and do that." And they knew the Japan
Right. Right. Right.
that hadn't been inculcated with the internet. So I said we were a different type because we were people that came from analog to digital over that divide and created a community for a while.
Right.
So I guess we have that, right?
Yeah,
Right.
we
Yeah.
had to
Yeah.
we had to vlog 20 miles barefoot through the snow. You know,
Both ways,
Uphill.
right?
Uphill both
both
ways.
ways. Before 6 a.m. every morning. That was the only way you could vlog back in the day. Yeah.
The other thing I told them, they said, what was it was better about those days? And I said, response videos, because response
Oh,
videos gave us the ability to have a kind of a community.
it
And
was
if,
a
for
real
example,
community.
if Victor posted something and somebody else and Hiko Simon did a response video, and if I didn't know Hiko Simon, well, now I know Hiko Simon, I go
Yeah. Yeah.
subscribe to him, right?
And that's how we all got to know each other. Yeah, it was a
That's right.
genuine social network. It was a
Yeah, that
video-based
really
social
helped me a
network.
lot. There was
Yeah.
this one guy who did this video about pedophilia that he was kind of saying it's not so bad, and I lost my mind. I was like, I made a response video yelling at him. That didn't make any sense. I was just like, "Are you crazy?" I was just banging my head, like yelling at the camera, like, "You cannot say shit like that. It's never gonna be okay just because you think the child is just." But people really they agreed with me, and people found me, and
Thank heavens.
Well, Victor, I don't
I
know
grew
for whatever
quickly
it's worth.
after that. Yeah.
I don't know if I've ever told you, but you were my very first exposure to the JVlog community,
Oh,
Victor.
really?
I didn't know JVlog existed until one day just I happened to randomly click on this video, and through the speakers comes this, "Give me a break, man, give me a flake, man,"
Really?
and your theme song, and I'm going, "What the heck is this?" Right?
Who's this
And then
Mexican?
it was because it was this who's this failed Peruvian, right? And because that was a quote you said once. So if someone called you a failed Peruvian,
Yeah, yeah.
but then
Japanese like to call me that.
you were
Japanese like
my
to.
you were my entree into it, because then
Wow.
because of you and your connection to everybody else, I discovered that there was a whole bunch of us out there,
Yeah,
right?
yeah, yeah.
Thank you for
Wow.
that.
Well, that's an honor.
Yeah.
That's
You truly are the Godfather.
Hey, well, this has been way too short, Hiko.
It has been. It feels like
Yeah.
this is
Well,
just the warm-up. We haven't
not
even started yet.
I know.
not by the measure of my toilet.
Don't please don't tell us you've been sitting on the toilet the whole time. You're in
Flushed in the show. That'd be a great outro.
yeah.
They're getting a little getting a little waterlogged down
But
there, eh?
but we
Yeah.
wanted you wanted to promote your book, and you gave me a list of things you wanted to talk about. You want to talk about that before we?
Sure. No,
Yeah.
I can do it in a nutshell. So,
Yeah,
folks,
please.
I wrote not Going Alone. Going Alone is another book I wrote. I wrote Retiring in Japan. When my wife and I set out on this 2-year venture, it sounds like Gilligan's Island, 2-hour voyage. When we set out on this 2-year
Oh.
venture, I chronicled the experience and made this book, and the book is out there for. It's not a how-to guide. It's an anecdotal recount of the experience that my wife Yumiko and I had in making the transition, specifically from the United States to Japan. That includes ending our careers, what that was like, getting the dogs ready to go, facilitating a visa, searching for a house, buying a house, and getting settled into the community. And if you're interested in anything like that, I recommend the resource out there. But if you can also, you don't have to buy it. You can just send me an email. Can I give my email address,
Yeah, of
Victor?
course, of
Nico?
course. It's, yeah.
dinnerbytheriver@gmail.com, and I'll happy to send you a PDF copy of the document. Because I really what I'm after is it sounds canned and cliche to say, but I really do mean it. I would like to help people to climb this mountain more easily than we did. And guys, you would not believe how many people are out there that want to come retire in Japan. I'm getting
Oh, really?
every week so many emails from people that are just, people are finding me on WhatsApp and just calling me out of the blue. A lot of people want to get ready. A lot of people are coming.
Do you know the news stories? There's a whole news a bunch of news stories out. There's some guys doing a whole retiring in Japan series right now. I know it's got no connection with you, but have you seen it?
And it's not me. Who
Yeah,
somebody
no.
else?
There's some other guy I just saw. I think it was. I just saw it in the news.
Oh, are you talking
Oh,
about Ben Tanaka over? He's doing the Retired Japan. Ben
Well,
Tanaka.
Right.
I don't think it was Ben. Well, it might be the same guy.
Yeah, well, there's a guy in Sendai who's, I think, Ben. I don't know his last name, but there's Ben, retiring in Japan. And there's another guy also talking about retiring in Japan in Tokyo who does walking vlogs lately, remembering the 90s and stuff like that. Like,
really?
not talking about retirement, but yeah, you're right. There's a couple of people already getting onto this. And you know what? This was, and those guys started before the yen got ridiculously cheap. So you think about that as well. And people wanting to think about stretching their retirement money. Japan looks like a good option for that purpose as well right now. So yeah, I could see it being a big area actually.
There's another guy named Drew Limsky. I'll put his name in here. You can look him up later. Drew Limsky, right there. He's got an article out. It looks like it's a series, but I'm not sure. Maybe it's just one. This guy. Yeah,
actually,
Japan,
Aaron.
It ain't easy. Yeah.
Erin just thought exactly what just flashed up in my brain. She said it out loud. You can start a business in retirement just supporting people in this. I think you're right. You know what? I think if you were to be like a retirement consultant for people, you could probably actually,
give you a purpose.
There's a business there for, well, you have a purpose. You don't have to make this, you have to make work your purpose again. But, I think there's a demand for that, actually. That'd be a great business for someone, for whoever does it.
Yeah, I agree. And Victor, thank you for giving me an opportunity to plug my book.
No, great.
Shameless plug is over.
Yeah.
Well, you know what? It's great you have the book, but honestly, I enjoyed just talking to you, and I feel like we had such a great chat when I was in America. I just love hanging out and talking with you, man. So we just got to do this again. Like book. We'll plug the book every time. We'll sponsor.
I will never forget Hiko sitting on top of the bluff there, overlooking the Channel Islands and just talking about life. I really enjoyed our time together. And then not to mention surfing, right? I wish
well, that's right.
Which is a rough experience for both of us, honestly.
It was. Yeah.
But yeah, there's another important life moment.
You did really good. You did better than me.
Oh, yeah.
So, two things. Louis C.K. is in 2026, March 30th.
Yep.
And Hiko and I are going, and
I've got 2 ticket takers, by the way, on my end. We'll have to figure out if we have to buy more tickets.
I've only got 2. So there might be some extra tickets out there, or you can probably order them right now. If anybody wants to come, we're gonna have a little.
Yeah, we're gonna have a big group. People, I think the seats aren't allocated, right? You just get a seat and then you go into the place. So yeah. Anyway, we're going and we're taking some people. I'm actually I've given away 2 tickets.
You're giving away? Wow.
No, I'm not. Sorry, I just remembered I'm not. I'm selling. I'm getting reimbursed, but we'll go as a group. And so if there are more people who want to come, it'll be like a meetup.
2026, March 30th, Louis C.K. It's going to be a good time in Tokyo. I'm coming in from Nagoya. I'll probably stay for the weekend because it's a Monday, so I'll just go Saturday, Sunday. But we won't. Well, maybe we can see you during the day on Saturday or Sunday, before the show.
Yeah.
Stop in Shizuoka maybe.
Oh, if you stop in Shizuoka, you definitely. There's a bullet train stop here. Yeah, I would love. I would love to see.
And the other thing is, if you don't mind, Hiko, why don't we have him back sooner than later?
Anytime. More Oyaji. It's like cowbell. You can never have too much Oyaji.
I didn't finish the book, so I can finish the book by next time. You want to talk about that later, or figure it out later?
You guys,
the date?
Just hey guys, I'll come on at short notice. Just anytime. Just let me know. I'll show up.
Okay. Next time we'll be on Nico Simon's channel.
Yeah.
You guys will give me a purpose. Thank you.
We got to keep you from that
from the darkness. Turn back to the light. Turn back towards the light.
Yeah.
But-
Turn off
but
that.
thanks-
Oh.
Yeah. Thanks for coming, but it wasn't long enough, so we definitely got to continue this
Yeah, flew
conversation.
by.
I'm going to finish the book. Hiko's got a live show after this.
Yeah,
I think,
I'm
yes?
doing DJ after party as always at 11:30. You guys pick the
Yes.
tracks. So maybe Aaron or actually you can't post links here, so and neither can I. So any case, go to Tokyo Digital Crew channel and it's on there.
What's it? Can you
I'll
type it in
type
the type a comment and I'll just highlight it.
Tokyo Digital Crew channel. If you search for that, and you'll find my live DJ after party where you get to pick music. As Kurt sometimes pick some tracks to play.
I do. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah. I always
taste.
like my Doja Cat.
yeah. Doja Cat is just like never misses. Actually, everything
Never
she does is
misses.
good.
All right, guys. Tokyo Digital Group channel. Go check them out. I got to get up at 5:30 in the morning, so I got to go. But thanks for everyone always for coming by. And if you're free next Sunday at about 5 p.m. on my channel, we do a 1-hour cooking show with me and the kids and the wife. You come visit.
Nice.
It's 4 a.m. for you guys, but we'll have fun. And the kids love it. They just love interacting with you guys. They're starting to remember some of the names. Like, oh, so and so's back. Maddie. You know, Maddie. Remember Maddie who was trolling me? Maddie actually paid money to call me fat, and the kids loved it. Anyway, thanks a lot, man.
Thank you, gentlemen. Thank you, everybody, for watching and participating.
Stick around for a second. I'm going to end the stream though, just to say
Okay.
thanks. All right. Okay, ending.